What's up, my beautiful fashionistas? Welcome back to Yvonne Winifred Yogi. So for today's tutorial, these are the fabrics that we are working with. It's a mix and match in shades of blue, and I have my front and back pieces already cut and folded into two. It's all the same size. So for this kind of a dress, you have to mind about your shoulder and the sleeve length. For the width, that is what you have to consider, and also your full length. So that is how much fabric you want. So I've already marked where the hip line is. It's at 25 inches from the starting line, and that is all for now. So at the starting line here, I'm just going to mark first half of the shoulder measurement, which is 7 inches, and now I have to add the sleeve length. So in this case, because of the fabric, it's not all that much. I worked with 6.5 inches, and there is half an inch for joining a contrasting color later on. So I have about 14 inches, but you can work with any other measurement that you have, and you can elongate your sleeve length to about maybe 10 inches, sleeve 9 inches, and you can use about 18 inches. But in this case, all I have is 14 inches along the shoulder here. So you see, I'm having only 14 inches, and I'll be adding contrasting color of about 2 to 3 inches later on. So now from this starting point at the top here, remember I have both my front and back. I'm going to come here where it ends and mark the shoulder slant of about 1.5 inches. If the sleeve length was going on, I would have used like 2 inches, but since it stops nearer, I'm using 1.5 inches. So for the neckline width, you can use 4 inches. Remember, this dress has no zipper, so you need somewhere to pass your head. So for me, I worked with 3.5 inches. This is kind of for a smaller sized person. That's why I used 3.5 inches for the neckline width for both front and back. So for the back neckline depth, I'm working with 1.5 inches. And then for the front, I'm going to use 8 inches. Front neckline depth is 8, then the back is 1.5. So let me just mark or draw a curved neckline like this for the back, and now I'm just going to cut off that. For the front one, I will deal with it later. So from the neckline width, I'm going to draw a straight line to where the neckline, the shoulder slant is, like this. Then after joining those two, I'm just going to add half an inch as the shoulder joining allowance, or the sewing allowance at the shoulder, like that. So now that is what we have. So again, from this shoulder slant, at the 1.5 inch shoulder slant, I'm going down by the sleeve opening that I want to use 9 inches, but I have to add 1 inch for sewing allowance, so I marked 10 inches. If you're of a bigger size, you can mark 12 inches or even 11 inches. So now I have there 10 inches. At that point, I'm moving in by half an inch, and I'm going to slant that sleeve opening like this, though I didn't use that because I wanted to use this entire fabric since it was not that much. And you can even also move in by by 1 inch, not just half an inch. So also along the hip line, I'm just going to mark 1/4 of the hip measurement. That is hip measurement divided by 4. Then I add 2 inches for ease allowance, and also 1 inch for sewing allowance. So the ease allowance also depends on you, whether you want it very big or you just want a little bit ease. And if you want it so fitting, you just add like 1 inch. because there is no zipper, so you don't have to make it very tight. So after that, I just joined up and curved the neckline there. So whatever measurement I have at the hip line, I'm marking it also at the hemline like this, and I'm going to join from the hemline to the hip line with a straight line. Here it is just straight, just from the hip line to where the armhole ends, though you have to make sure that it is a little bit curved along near the armhole there where I've cut. So now we just cut everything out simply. That is all we needed. So now I have my front and back. I'm going to put the back away so that we finish up with the front piece. So this can now be aside. So now this is only the front piece. So remember where we marked the neckline depth of 8 inches. At that point, I'm just going to mark 2 inches, 2 inches like this from the 8 inches going down up to the hemline. So guys, I'm so sorry. At some point, my camera was not filming and I missed some parts. But after marking the 2 inches, I joined those points to form the straight line up to where the 8 inches neckline depth is, and from there I just curved to the neckline width like this with my ruler. Slight curve, simply like that, and that is all. So you have to make sure your neckline depth is highlighted so that you don't forget where it is. And now I'm just going to cut off these 2 inches that I've marked. So just watch where I cut, like this, into the neckline width like that. So I put that away. So at this point now I have 2 pieces of the front. It's no longer one, they are now 2 like this. So I'm going to just bring now the back piece, make right sides facing each other so that we can join along the shoulders all these pieces. So it will be like this, right sides facing each other, join along the shoulders by 1/2 inch like that. Let me just put the back down and the front pieces, let the front pieces be on top and you see properly. So I will be joining along the shoulder by 1/2 inch that side and also this side. Make sure right sides are facing each other. Here you just join by 1/2 inch. So let me do that and come back. So anyway, before that I have to make sure that this center back, I notch that point there. It's going to be useful later on as you're going to be seeing. So that is it, and this is it from or after joining the shoulder or along the shoulder. So that is it. And remember, after all the sewing, you have to overlock all the open edges. So that is what I have. So now guys, from this center back where we notched, I'm going to measure from the center back into the front neckline depth up to the hemline on either side. So from the center back up to the hemline like this, I need that measurement. And for me, I got about 60 inches on either side. So altogether, I need a piece of about 120 inches. So since I don't have a fabric that has all that length, I just cut 2. So I have my pieces in the contrasting color. The width is 6 inches. On fold it will be 3 inches. So this is 60 inches, but I added some excess just in case, about 2 inches excess just in case. And the other piece also is about 62 inches. So I'm going to join them in the I'm going to join the 2 pieces, and that joining will now be the center back. It will be at the center back, and then I will be joining. So it is now joined here. So that joining, as I've said, it will be at the center back. So guys, also I measured from the center back up to where the 8 inches depth is, just for one side, since our contrasting piece is on fold. So from there, the joining, which is now the center back, I marked that measurement. For me, it was about 13 inches, and also made sure that I'm marking in the middle. So from the center back to where the front neckline depth is, I have about 13 inches. I measured that, and also I measured from the 8 inches front neckline depth up to where I want my slit to end. So it was a few inches below the knee line, and I marked that. So again, I made sure I'm marking in the middle, at the midpoint at 3 inches. So that is the line that I have. That measurement was about 42 inches, and I've run a straight stitch to join my two pieces. And at this point, I'm just putting the pieces onto the right sides, just as you see. So flipping to the right sides, after the sewing, even up here where the collar is supposed to be, this is what we have now. So you see the join part is supposed to be at the back, and this is where the slit is going to be. But guys, you can adjust your slit. You can try it out and see whether that is what you want, and you can adjust your slit, and you can also adjust up here where the neckline is. So after joining all that piece to my dress, this is what I have. I joined from the back. It can be tricky, so first pin it and see how it's supposed to be joined by 1/2 inch on either sides, and that is it. So for the extension at the sleeve opening, this is what I have. On fold, I have about 3 inches, and this will just be joined by 1/2 inch near the sleeves, and after there at the wrong side, I will take in the sides by 1 inch that we left. So even the other side, I'll just fold in like this. After folding, I have about 3 inches. 1/2 inch is for attaching it along the entire sleeve opening like that. So after taking in the sides, I'll just double fold along the hemline by 1/2 inch, and the dress is ready. Very beautiful. This is how it looks like, guys. I just like what I see. I love the outcome. This is how the sleeves are now. This place needs to be ironed so that I relax those seams. This is how it came out, so beautiful, and this is how it looks like. So you can try out yours and tag me on Instagram at Yvonne Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I'll be seeing you soon.